Midterm elections don't matter. One of the most common myths surrounding midterm elections is that they don't matter as much as presidential elections. However, midterm elections are just as important, if not more so, than presidential elections. Midterm elections determine who will control Congress, and therefore, which policies will be passed or blocked. In addition, many state and local offices are up for election during midterms, which can have a significant impact on local communities. Furthermore, midterm elections are often seen as a referendum on the sitting president. If the president's party loses control of Congress, it can be seen as a sign of dissatisfaction with the president's policies and leadership. Lastly, midterm elections can also have long-term effects on the political landscape. The results of midterm elections can shape future elections, as well as the overall direction of the country. Midterm elections are only about the president. Another myth about midterm elections is that they are only about the president. While the president's popularity and policies can certainly influence the outcome of midterm elections, there are many other factors at play. For example, local issues and candidates can have a significant impact on the outcome of midterm elections. In addition, the state of the economy, foreign policy, and other national issues can also influence the outcome of midterm elections. Furthermore, midterm elections are often seen as a way for voters to express their dissatisfaction with the party in power. This can be seen in the 2010 and 2014 midterm elections, where the Republican Party gained control of Congress after years of Democratic control. Voter fraud is rampant in midterm elections. There is a myth that voter fraud is rampant in midterm elections, and that it is a major problem that needs to be addressed. However, studies have shown that voter fraud is extremely rare, and that there is no evidence to suggest that it is a significant problem in midterm elections. In fact, many experts argue that the real problem with midterm elections is not voter fraud, but voter suppression. This can take many forms, such as restrictive voter ID laws, voter purges, and reduced early voting periods. These measures can make it more difficult for certain groups of people, such as minorities and low-income voters, to cast their ballots. It is important to address the real issues facing our elections, rather than focusing on myths and misinformation. Midterm elections are always low turnout. It is a common myth that turnout is always low during midterm elections. While it is true that turnout is typically lower during midterm elections than during presidential elections, this is not always the case. For example, turnout during the 2018 midterm elections was the highest it had been in over 50 years. This was due in part to high levels of enthusiasm and engagement among voters, as well as increased efforts to encourage voter turnout. It is important to remember that voter turnout can be influenced by many factors, including the competitiveness of the races, the issues at stake, and the efforts of political campaigns and advocacy groups to mobilize voters. Midterm elections are predictable. Another myth about midterm elections is that they are predictable, and that the party in power always loses seats in Congress. While there is some truth to this, it is not always the case. It is important to remember that every election is unique, and that the outcome can be influenced by a variety of factors. Midterm elections only matter for national politics. While midterm elections do have a significant impact on politics, they also have a major impact on state and local politics. Many state and local offices are up for election during midterms, including governors, state legislators, and city council members. These offices can have a significant impact on local communities, as they are responsible for making decisions on issues such as education, transportation, public safety, and more. In addition, state and local officials can have a significant impact on national politics, as they are often seen as a pipeline for future national leaders. Midterm elections are only about Democrats and Republicans. While Democrats and Republicans are the two major political parties in the United States, they are not the only ones participating in midterm elections. Third-party candidates and independent candidates also participate in midterm elections, and can have a significant impact outcome. For example, during the 2018 midterm elections, several third-party and independent candidates won seats in Congress and state legislatures. In addition, third-party and independent candidates can often influence the outcome of elections by drawing votes away from the major parties. Midterm elections are all negative campaigning. It is a common myth that midterm elections are all about negative campaigning, with candidates attacking each other and engaging in mudslinging. While negative campaigning certainly does occur during midterm elections, it is not the only form of campaigning. Many candidates focus on positive messaging, highlighting their own accomplishments and plans for the future. In addition, many advocacy groups and political campaigns focus on issues and policies, rather than attacking their opponents. It is important to remember that voters respond to positive messaging and policy proposals, and that candidates who focus on these things can be successful in midterm elections. Midterm elections are only about House and Senate races. While the House and Senate races are certainly important during midterm elections, they are not the only races that matter. Many state and local offices are up for election during midterms, including governors, state legislators, and city council members. These offices can have a significant impact on local communities, as they are responsible for making decisions on issues such as education, transportation, public safety, and more. In addition, state and local officials can have a significant impact on national politics, as they are often seen as a pipeline for future national leaders. Midterm elections are only about winning. While winning is certainly important during midterm elections, it is not the only goal. Midterm elections are also about engaging voters, promoting democracy, and ensuring that all voices are heard. Political campaigns and advocacy groups can use midterm elections as an opportunity to raise awareness about important issues, mobilize voters, and promote civic engagement. By doing so, they can help to promote a healthy democracy and ensure that all voices are heard. It is important to remember that the outcome of an election is not the only measure of success, and that the process of engaging voters and promoting democracy is just as important. Thanks for watching.